I wanted to do an update on my X431 Pro Ace. I got this, I think in February, and this thing's been really good. Kind of update some of the features, a little bit more full featured review. I'm going to cover some of the same things I went over in my first review, just generally what the tool will do, but to just kind of go over what I like about this tool, if there's any deficiencies that I can see, just kind of give an overview. Main screen here, you're going to spend a lot of time here as far as just getting acclimated. You got your intelligent diagnosis, and this really is like as automated as it can be. So you can set up and go through, do that real quick here. Might as well show you that one, because this is the one that you're really going to spend time with as far as going through this process. So yeah, it's going to pull up the VIN code. It'll pull up any scan history that you've done to it. If you want to get quick access to any other resets and stuff like that, you got to set your area. This setup process will be a little bit different for each car, because this is meant to actually be a mirror of like factory scan tools. So what you're gonna do is go through. I want to go through the main setup here and see if I can show you a full diagnostic here. So this is what I like about this tool about the most. This will show me all of the different networks on this vehicle. It also labels those so that you can get a pretty good idea which one's on high speed, which one's on low speed, which one's on the body network, that kind of stuff. And another cool feature, if you're not sure what something is, what the acronym's for, then you can go find what that's about, right? So you know what ABS, what's RCC2, radar cruise 2. So that kind of stuff's kind of handy. I'll let it go through and scan all of these. This is actually really pretty fast. The only ones that I have any trouble on are on Hondas and Nissan, but those are always slow. Pretty much everything else, it goes through stuff really fast. This thing has been my main scan tool for several months now, probably 6 months. So it's been my everyday, and I've got a bunch of scan tools to pick from, but this one's got the most features and the most options. And I've got a 2018 model Toyota here, so got a few things here. Let's see what it comes up with. The other thing that I like about this is when you get done, you can make a nice report. You can send that to yourself, send it to a customer, basically whoever you can get, but it'll produce a nice PDF style format, and so it'll list everything out, and it makes it easy for somebody who's not versed in this to see what's that's doing. You can add information for yourself as far as fill in all your stuff there, and then it'll go ahead and fill out your probably navigation control. This is an aftermarket radio, so that makes some sense there. And then just some history there. But I like to, whenever I do these, of course, save them just so that I've got something to cover my butt if something ever comes back, and then I don't have to worry about that. I'll go ahead and go into the main computer here, ECM. Let's see here. Let's do some data stream on this. Like I say, this has been really good, and I'll show some more features here in a minute as far as what all it'll do. This one, I got 330 PIDs available to me. That's, of course, in my PCM. I've got a bunch of other modules, so those other modules are going to have more PIDs to look at. So I have not had vehicles that I really can't get information out of, as far as, you know, how some scan tools will have what you need and some scan tools won't. I'll go ahead and pull up a couple here. I like the fact that I can switch easily back and forth metric to English, because there's certain things that I've got memorized as far as what it should be in metric system, and some of them in you know, basic imperial units or English units, whatever. And so that's nice to be able to switch back and forth there. Let's see if we can graph here. I like that I can see a bunch at one time. Let's see if I can start taking some off of here. There we go. So from here, if I wanted to just get down to one, and a feature that I've got on a bunch of my scan tools, as far as a bunch of my launch scan tools, there, I can put more time on the screen, get a longer time base. So if I'm monitoring something for several minutes, watching the O2 sensor, seeing how it's acting, I want to watch my coolant temp, make sure that it's going up, doing what it's supposed to, and see how long that takes. So that's kind of handy to be able to zoom in and look at different items based on where I'm at, what I need to see on the screen, and then add as needed, right? So that's kind of a neat feature there as well. I forget the specifics on, let me do this real quick, see if I can do this in one spot. There we go. So you get it in that position where you can see all of it on one graph, and you can do multiple on there. Yep. So that's what I think is really cool. Just these are your basic things, right? This is not anything special, nothing spectacular here. Actuation tests, good, quite good, and pretty thorough. I have yet to run into anything that I could not do. I will say I did run into a an air pump on a 2009 Tacoma that it wouldn't actuate for me. It said there was a air injection test, but would not run. So there are, in any scan tool, of course, I'm not gonna say the scan tool is perfect. There's no perfect scan tool, and there's no one scan tool that'll do every single thing you ever need it to do. But this one does a really good job at everything, basic everything that it needs to complete. Oil service lights, I'll go into that in a minute. That's really good, and you can see a bunch of the options that you've got here in your menus here, as far as your special functions. You can do your freeze frames, fault codes, that kind of stuff there as well. Let me back up. It'll probably holler at me here. Yep. So another huge portion of this tool that I think is just a big deal is all of the service functions that it will do, because this is where you're really gonna need to get out of trouble. Like if you've serviced a car and you can't get the reset done, you really haven't gotten that completed. So the fact that it's got all of these resets, let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see. And I have yet to run into one of these in any of the cars that I've serviced that it won't complete. If I can get into the menu and get into it, I've had it work every time. I've done a ton of the oil light resets. I don't do a whole lot of NOx sensors, worrying about that. The diesel particulate filters, or I'm sorry, gas particulate filters on this one, the regen there. You want to exit that there. But anyway, anything from aiming your headlights, setting up your windows on this one here, I mean, it's just been fantastic for getting problems out of my bay that I don't want to worry about anymore. I'm just done with, and I want the car gone, and this is where I'm going to go to do that. And it does a really, really good job of that. It's got some good features to that. What I really like about this one is that it does this one doesn't have a setup to go through as far as doing that, but all the European cars, as far as automated version of an oil maintenance reset, they do, right? So they do a really good job in this tool of getting you to an answer. I've had a couple that it won't do it through the computer, but it gives me really good step-by-step instructions as far as how to do the reset, and it's worked every time that I've needed it to work. So that's been good. This is probably one I've never seen one on a Toyota that would actually do a automated reset. We'll just go through here and see if it'll just give me the instructions. See if that's what it'll do on this one, which it should tell me on this one that I've got to go through the main menu behind the and the instrument cluster here, and go through my menu and go to maintenance reset, that kind of stuff. Well, service light reset. Yep, here's my instructions. Press odometer trip, hold it. Yep. Okay, so that's another method. Toyota's done that for a long time. So that's a quick method to do on the Toyotas, but you can also go through the through the menu down on the steering wheel here. So that is really cool because it basically just guides you through it. So you really as long as you're following the directions, it's gonna do a pretty good job of getting you through the problem. Another thing that I thought was good about that's actually a good thing. That is good and loud, so you're not going to miss that, and you're not going to lose your dongle and end up having a tool that's worthless at that point. So covered the intelligent diagnosis, the service functions, remote diagnose. This would be if you had somebody that wanted to help you. If you had a problem that you couldn't get through, you can go through here, and somebody with another launch tool can get down to help you get to an answer, and they can see your screen and tell you what you need to be looking at. Tire pressure monitoring, you can add another launch tool to this, and it will do the full suite of adding new sensors. It will program them, it will read them, set them up so that when you need to redo your rotation or something like that, it'll complete all that. Your updates, this is the only thing that kind of bothers me, is that it'll show that I need a bunch of updates, but I'm up to date on the tool. It does have, and you'll see that this is kind of a global tool, so it'll do a bunch of Chinese market tools, right? I've never had a Haima or a GWM, Joylong, Lifan, never seen those, never gonna. It would be nice, and maybe there's a way I just haven't found, but it would be nice to just be able to remove those from the tool or just make them in a separate setup. That would be kind of a cool feature, just so that it condenses my list. That's one thing that I think would be cool. The diagnostic history, I'll show you real quick. It's organized by month, so you can see I've had it since February, and so it does a really good job of, hey, didn't I look at that car last month? So it just keeps you from having to scroll and scroll and scroll. And I'm not doing diag every day. I'm primarily doing simpler jobs, but you can see obviously certain months I've done a whole lot more with this than others, but I've done a little bit of everything on these vehicles as far as whatever service they needed, if something needed reset, something needed to be completed, whatever. But it has done a really good job and you can see that I'm not working on a bunch of the same cars. This is Toyotas, Hondas, Chryslers, Jeeps, Volvos, Mercedes, a little bit of all of it, right? So all of those. The other part is once you've been into the tool, been in with the tool into one of their computers, you can quickly go back and pick right back up where you were at, rather than having to set the tool up all the way again. And that's actually kind of a big time saver, because you're not having to start over and redo all your diagnosis there and all your setup process. ADOS, this has a full setup on ADOS. Of course, you got to buy more stuff with that in order to make that work. But that's a really big deal as well. I mean, the fact that you can actually complete all of that when you buy the targets, you buy the setup stuff. Of course, you need more space than a lot of shops have. So that's something you got to consider. That's not going to be for everybody, but the fact that it'll do it is a pretty big deal. The other stuff that I like here, it's got a toolbox set up here, and this is where all the add-on tools would be pulled in. So they've got, and I knew, but I didn't know as far as just having experience with a bunch of them, but they've got a bunch of different add-ons that you can put on this. You can do an immobilizer programmer. You can buy that on Amazon. So I mean, that's something that you could add, so that you could add, do keyless remotes and stuff like that, doing programming with a key. It's got a Bluetooth battery tester that you can add to it. You can do a multimeter add on to this. You can do a sensor box, a regular oscilloscope with this. I think that would be a really good addition to make this even more full featured than it is already. I think it's been a great tool so far, but some of these would be even better. I did take a regular, just USB powered scope and plugged into that, just a generic one. Works perfectly, and does a really good job, makes a nice picture, and that's just on something that's regular USB-C. So no, mine was regular USB, like the big box on that one. But yeah, this does a ton of different stuff that you can add on to this tool to really up the game of what all this thing can do. And we're not talking about big money to do all of these. Like if I've already got a what is my other oscilloscope called? The one that I have was $1,500, but I have to get my laptop out. I have to worry about all of that that was my Pico scope. I have to get all of that out, and it just makes me not really want to use it that much. Whereas if I can get a quick one out, plug it right into this tool, and get to work, and it puts me in a whole lot better spot in order to just move along quickly and not have to spend a bunch of time setting up and getting my laptop out and getting the program going. Oh, it needs to be updated. Oh, I've got to, okay, where was that cable? That kind of stuff. This is a whole lot quicker. These, I definitely want to add these to it. I really want to add my Bluetooth battery checker, because I think that would be a neat add-on to these. I've been really pleased with this. Got a bunch of screenshots and stuff that I've pulled up on different vehicles. Yeah, some of these are going to be stock, right? But I've pulled up some where if I need to prove out that the reading was there like I said it was, it's easy enough to just hit the screenshot button on this. Yeah, it's got a camera on it, and I mean, it's got a bunch of features to this. The other cool thing, totally unrelated to the tool, if you've got Android, you can put anything Android on this. It's got the Play Store. You can put YouTube. And I mean, YouTube's fantastic for, hey, where's that hidden bolt on the backside of this Mini Cooper? Oh, well, I watched that video real quick. Oh, there it is. Boom. Obviously, you got your phone most of the time, but there's times where phone's dead, whatever. This thing can do a bunch. I've added TikTok, all of that. You can put Gmail on there, whatever you want, it will do. If it's Android, it'll do it. So that right there is huge in and of itself, because then you can make this do a whole lot more outside of just a scan tool. So yeah, this is not hard to recommend this tool. it's been really solid. It's been a solid tool. I've dropped a few times. It just keeps on going. So I'm loving this thing. I hope you guys appreciate that, and hope you guys got something out of it. And if you have some questions, ask me. I'll see what I can do to answer them.